The reason you mentioned earlier, when people can no longer make sense of the world, quote, when they feel overwhelmed by immense amounts of information they cannot digest, they become easy prey for conspiracy theories. And then you have a rather long section on witches. I learned more about this witch problem of the old days here than any other book, but very serious consequences, many people murdered, including children. You write, witch hunts were a catastrophe caused by the spread of toxic information, prime example of a problem that was created by information and was made worse by more information. Explain.
Well, it starts with the printing press, with the print revolution. A lot of people think, and you hear it a lot in places like Silicon Valley, that information technology always is a good thing because it spreads more information, more truth. And one of the prime examples from history is the way that allegedly the printing press led to the scientific revolution. Well, it didn't. Almost 200 years passed between Gutenberg introducing print technology to Europe in the middle of the 15th century until you have the flowering of the scientific revolution with people like Newton in the 17th century. In between, you had the worst wars of religion in European history and the worst witch hunts. Witch hunts were not a medieval phenomenon. They were a modern phenomenon. And the printing press and the spread of information played a key role. Because, you know, like today with social media, the print industry in the 15th century, they were pursuing user engagement. And, you know, scientific tracts like Copernicus's, mathematical calculations about the movements of planets, this is not very engaging. But witch hunting manuals are. So one of the biggest bestsellers of early modern Europe was a book called The Hammer of the Witches, which is still in many ways influences our world today. QAnon and all that, it goes back to the Hammer of the Witches. In the Middle Ages, people thought there were witches, but they were not concerned about them. Some individual in the village that know how to brew love potions and find treasure or whatever. Then they came with this theory that actually there is a global conspiracy of Satan-worshipping witches that is out to destroy humanity.
Well, you got to do something about that.
You have to do something about it.
Yeah.
And just to give you kind of a flavor of what kind of book it was and why it sold so many copies, so one of the chapters in The Hammer of the Witches is about the alleged ability of witches to steal penises from men. And it brings all kinds of evidence, like one man wakes up in the morning and finds that his penis is gone. So he goes to the village witch and forces her, like, bring me back my penis. And the witch tells him, okay, climb this tree. You'll find at the top of the tree a bird's nest. So the man climbs up the tree, finds the bird's nest, and inside there are all these penises that the witch stole from different men in the village. And the witch tells him, okay, now you can take your own, but he selects the biggest one. And she tells him, no, you can't take this one. This one belongs to the parish priest. Now, this was, you can understand why, one of the biggest bestsellers of early modern Europe. And it was a foundation of this global conspiracy of witches, which is still alive and well today in the world in conspiracy theories like QAnon. And it may sound funny, but it led to a huge, huge tragedy. Tens of thousands of people were tortured and murdered in unspeakable ways in early modern Europe because of this theory. And, you know, the more witch hunts, the more witch trials, there was more and more information about witches until people could not doubt it.
And these are some of the accounts of the attacks. Does it matter how many people believed this to really be true at the time or not?
A lot of people, most people, believe that it's true. There was so much information circulating about it that people said, okay, maybe we can doubt some of it, but not all of it. And the more people talked about it, the more difficult it became to just doubt the whole thing. So this is a classic case of how more information actually leads to a worse situation, not to a better situation.
Another question